Alrighty guys, welcome back to Pagan Arsenal. In this video we are going to be browning our barrel. So our plan going forward, we are going to scrape the surface clean, we're going to degrease it, we're going to heat it up, we're going to brown it, and we're going to wipe it down with some kerosene, and then wipe it down with some gun oil. And that should be good for this segment. You can see we got a bit of surface rust going on. We got our sanding block, we got some acetone to wipe it down, and we have some of Express Brown number 2, designed for muzzle loaders and Damascus barrels. So we got that fancy bit of stuff right there. Everybody's got their own preferred method for applying all of this. I don't. So and we're just going to be using some paper towels to get everything wiped on it, and we're just going to go ahead and get into this. And this is just a 220 grit sanding block. We don't really need to get, a super high polish. You can already see like it's taken off some of the surface rust pretty good already. We don't need a super high polish. I put this plug in the muzzle mostly to keep everything from getting in there that shouldn't be getting in there. Like we don't want any of that browning solution getting down into the bore. That's a very bad thing. We don't want anything interfering with the bore. So the barrel is being held in the vise by one of the tendons right now, and that's mostly just to give me uninhibited access to the entirety of the barrel. I'm still going to be taking it out of the vise and flipping it around so I can card off the excess rust, but that's just why I've got the vise set up the way I do right now. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get this ready to be degreased. All we're using is paper towel and some acetone. Yes, I am wearing rubber gloves during this. These are nitrile gloves. They'll be fine. Just making sure that there's no grease or oils or anything like that on the barrel that can interfere with the browning. When I say browning, it's a lot like bluing. We are rusting this on purpose. Instead of getting that nice rich blue, we're getting a nice plum brown. If that bothers some of y'all, yeah, deal with it. It's my gun. But yeah, that's what we're doing. We're browning the barrel, and probably the next video I do with y'all is going to be final assembly. And then after that, we'll do test firing and sighting it in. After that, we should be good to go. Alright, now for browning this thing, this is going to happen in sections. So I'm gonna get this ready to go. Got a heat gun. You can do this with a blowtorch. I don't, mostly because I don't want to overheat the barrel. Barrels contain a lot of pressure, and I'd rather not have that go very, very wrong. I'm gonna be doing it. I'm gonna be doing this in sections, or I'd rather do it in like thirds. But I'm probably gonna do like this front half and then flip it around, hold it by the 10 on the back half, and then do this half with the breech plug. Maybe not actually do it in halves. There might be some overlap. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. I'm not gonna make you guys watch the entire process of heating this thing up. I really am just running a heat gun over this thing. That'd be like trying to get this done with a hairdryer. But yeah, so we'll come back when it's, you know, ready to start browning. All right, we're gonna see if we're about where we need to be. Nope, it's not steaming off yet. We're trying to heat this barrel up to about 200 degrees. We're just testing it. We're just doing a quick spot of the solution. And we're not quite there yet. You can already see the discoloration though. Alright, you can see real quick it's steaming off nice and good up here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to wipe this down real quick. We're going to let it sit for a minute. Just going to let it rust on there. Yeah, you can see it steaming off. That's how you know we're doing a good job. We're going to let it sit for about a minute. We're gonna heat it up and go at it again. That's really all we're doing. We're just gonna be heating up this whole length of it and heat it up. We're gonna do 2 coats at a time, and we're gonna cart off the excess rust. And we're gonna heat it up, and we're gonna just do it like that. 2 layers, cart off the excess, heat it up. 2 layers, cart off the excess. That's all we're doing. So I'm not gonna make you guys watch the entire process, but that is what we're doing. All right, now to cart off the excess, I've got some degreased steel wool. All we're doing, just rubbing down the length of this, and what that's doing is it's brushing off all the rust that's sticking up from the surface. We want to keep that surface rust on there, like the rust that actually is the surface of the steel. But we want to take off all that stuff. All that fuzzy stuff that's sticking up from it. You'll be able to tell, like, all that coming off of there. Look at that. We're going to be doing coat after coat of this. And I'm probably going to do this barrel in thirds. So this front end, this middle section, and this back end. Yeah, so that's pretty much what we're doing. And then eventually we'll get a little further in this process and I can explain some other stuff. So I'm going to keep doing this, and yeah, this is going to be a process, very lengthy process. Alright guys, so I ended up going and getting a blowtorch. I didn't want to, partly because I don't want to overheat this barrel, but partly because when you use propane, you got a lot of residue that can build up on the surface of the work. But on the other hand, taking 20 minutes to do this with a heat gun versus all of 30 seconds to do this with a blowtorch, yeah. I also son of a bitch. I also improved my setup a little bit. Yeah. I can just run the flame over it. I can use the clamp, rock the barrel back and forth, get this thing up to temperature real quick. So yeah, this is the setup that I'm going to be using to blue this barrel. I'm doing the front 2/3 first, so I can use this setup and get it done pretty quick. And then I'm gonna do the back half, well, back third. Just like this. Yeah. How much faster this is. Not even trying to heat glue this, it's just, yeah. I needed heat, so I went and got more heat. Come on, y'all know me by now. Nothing ever goes according to plan. Everything changes. Everything changes. We must improve. Let's see if it's up to temp yet. Oh yeah. Look at that. Look how much faster that is. Sitting here with a heat gun. Come on. This is gonna be so nice. And if you're worried about all the unevenness of the rust, it'll start to even out as we get more and more layers on it and cart off the excess and even everything out. And once we oil it, everything will really start to blend together. So, yeah, that's my setup, and I'm sticking to it. All right, so the browning is done. All the excess is carted off. What do we do next? Well, what we do next is we are going to wipe this down with water that's been mixed with baking soda. What that's going to do is that's going to neutralize the browning solution. Basically just going to pump the brakes on that. It's going to be a forced stop. Just try not to make a gigantic mess here. Just going to wipe everything down. Baking soda, and that's going to halt the rusting, the oxidization, all that orange, weird, funky stuff that's forming on the surface of our barrel, whatever you want to call it. It's going to put a halt to that. And as it gets wet, you can start to see the colors of our browning start to show through. You can see just how nice it's going to start looking. I'm actually really happy. I've actually never browned a barrel before. I've blued a barrel or two, but I've never browned a barrel before, and I'm actually really happy with this. It actually looks really nice. I like this. Let's see if I can get some more of this baking powder on here. After this, we're going to wipe this down. We're going to wipe it dry, and we're going to rub it down with kerosene. That kerosene is going to set into the browning. It's going to help it harden. It's not just going to be a layer of rust on the surface. It's actually going to be a nice finished surface. Where'd my compressed air go? Here it is. That's just going to help us get everything dry. All right, kerosene. After we rub this thing down with kerosene, what's going to happen next, we're going to rub it down with some actual gun oil. This stuff. I bought this specifically for muzzle loaders and black powder. All right, so wiping it down with kerosene. This isn't going to cause an issue later on, like during firing. It's not going to combust and my whole barrel's going to catch on fire. It's helping set the finish, creating a nice hard finish. Basically, instead of just letting it cure naturally over time, it's speeding up the entire process. It's basically just hitting the gas on it. It's converting it from a nice soft rust to a nice hard rust. At least that's how it makes sense in my head. Don't judge me. I'm the gunsmith here. Kinda, sorta, a little bit. We're just gonna put a couple of coats of this on here. And you'll notice right back here, right where the nipple is, that the bluing the browning didn't quite catch there. That's not a big deal. There's actually a good bit of flash from the percussion cap that's actually going to discolor this whole area. It actually looks kind of nice. Yeah, so that's not a big deal that it didn't quite take back there. No, I'm not too concerned about my bench getting all discolored either. It's a workbench, it's what it's for. It's a tool. The workbench is a tool. It is not an indispensable resource. It is a tool. I can build another one. I can build this one back up. We have the technology. Alright, so we're going to let this kerosene dry a little bit, then we're going to wipe it down. I'm going to bring y'all back for cleaning and laying down that gun oil on it. So we're going to go ahead and do another snap. Alright, so the kerosene's been soaking in this barrel for about 10 minutes, getting a nice tough finish. We're going to go ahead, we're going to start rubbing it off with the acetone. Alright, acetone is done. Let's get another rag here. You know what? I keep forgetting that I didn't chop a whole lot off the tip of this, so I keep having to use my knife to get it open. Yeah! Gloves are falling apart. All right, well, I'm gonna keep going with this, and that's about it for you guys. So, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, you know, do whatever you gotta do. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much.